Okay, welcome to IOD 202, Parallel 1. We're looking at question 2. IOD 202 is interpretation of data. The 202 is the designated number. Identify basic features of a table, graph, or diagram. For example, headings, units of measurement, or axes. Okay, we already scanned the document, or the passage. We already did question 1. So we're going to look at question 2. Question 2. Which of the following years has no data represented in figure 2? Okay, which of the following years has no data represented in figure 2? Okay, we're going to go up to figure 2. Figure 1. Okay, this is figure 2. And we're looking for a year with no data. Well, let's look at the graph down here. 2000, 2010, 2020, 2030, 2040, 2050, 2060. Looks like there's a line. There's data here, right? So there's lines which are showing us the data for all the years on this graph between 2000 and 2060. If we go down to the choices, 2000, yep. 2000's on the graph. There's a data point for it. 2005. Well, where would 2005 be? It would be in between 2000 and 2010, right? It'd be right here. Well, if you look up, yep, there's definitely data for 2005. 2034. Okay, now this year hasn't happened yet, but if we go up to figure 2, 2034, where would that be? Be between 2030 and 2040, probably like right here. If you look up above, yep, there's definitely data for that point too. Even though it hasn't happened yet, it looks like the scientist is predicting bacteria levels over time. And if you look at the little caption or the text, it's indeed correct. It shows predicted bacteria levels. Okay. So 2034, yep, there's definitely data for that one too. 2070, this is the last choice, so this better be it. What would 2070 be? Well, there's 50, 2060, 2070 would be like over here. There's no data for 2070. 2070 appears to be off of this graph. So, no data for 2070, so this must be the correct answer. Right, because they're asking for which of the following years has no data represented in figure 2. Okay, so correct answer, correct response. 2070 is off the right side of the graph. There is no data in the graph for this year. Okay. So that means these are all distractors. Well, why are these distractors? Well, they're distractors because 2000 is almost off the left side of the graph, but there is data in the graph for the year 2000, right? And if we go back up and see that again, here's 2000. Notice right at 2000, there's data. It's right. It's the origin of the graph, right? Where the two axes meet. That's called the origin. It looks like 2000 is the origin for us here. And there's definitely data points right there. It's almost off, but it's just on. Okay. 2005 is also a distractor. Let's take a look. 2005 is near the left edge of the graph, but it's on the graph and there is data displayed in the graph. 2005 is near the left edge of the graph, but there is data for this year on the graph. Okay. Distractor 2034. If we go back up and look, 2034 is definitely on the graph. It'd be somewhere in here, but there's definitely data for it. Okay. Okay, now 2000, I think this one also might be a distractor because if I'm looking at this quickly, and I'm thinking in my head as I'm reading this list, 2000, yep, that's already happened. 2005, yep, that's already happened. 2034, wait, that hasn't happened yet. So of course the data is not going to be on a graph because 2004 hasn't happened yet. So if I just pick responses before reading them all, so I just don't even get to 2070, I might, without even looking at the figure, think that this might be a correct answer because it's in the future. It's also in the future and might lead us to believe that it wouldn't be on the graph because it hasn't happened yet. A student taking this test might choose this response without looking at response D. Okay, so that is an explanation of how to get the correct response and why each of the incorrect responses are distractors for IOD 202, Parallel Assessment 1, Question 2.